Yo, welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade. It's the show that recognizes that we are dog people. No offense to cat people, but this is all you. All right, let's start with some hot takes. Congratulations to Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for winning the Super Bowl this past weekend. Still not budging on that GOAT argument, though. MJ is still the best. Why, you ask? Because even though we have photographic evidence of Michael Jordan looking like he's had a little more than a few adult beverages through the years, he's never looked like a college freshman who just had too many White Claws like Brady does here. My guy has earned the right to party all he wants. 7 Super Bowls is a hell of an achievement, but man, you would think hanging out with Gronk all these years would prep Tampa for moments like this. Tony Hawk, a man who is often mistaken for not being Tony Hawk, went viral a few days ago when a video was posted of him handing out free stuff to kids who could do skate tricks on command, more specifically a kickflip. Now, most of the kids in the video pulled off the trick and got the swag in return, but my personal favorite was the kid who initially didn't want to do it because he was wearing his J's, to which Tony replied, "That's all right, aren't Jordans for skating?"
Do a kickflip.
I got my Jordans on though.
That's all right. Aren't Jordans for skating?
Ouch. The OG's got a point there, kid. Could you imagine the awkwardness if you were wearing the Dior ones and Michael Jordan asked you to play one-on-one with him? You have to do it, right? I mean, I would, but would a hypebeast who only knows Jordans as an accessory for their fit do it? Lil Uzi Vert put a pink diamond on his head. That's it. That's the story. Okay. There's more to it, obviously. The diamond is allegedly worth $24 million, and Uzi has basically been paying for it since 2017. To which I would reply, wait, Uzi has had that much money that he can afford a $24 million pink diamond and still eat? Man, remember when we used to watch music videos in the 90s and think to ourselves, man, Puffy spent a lot of money on that one. I guess this is where the money goes now. So would I rather have a pink diamond stapled on my forehead or spend millions on a music video where I've been around the world and be player hating while my then girlfriend Jennifer Lopez is a princess? Yeah, I'm gonna go with Puff on that one. Just a preference, no judgment. Shout out to Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets. Not only is the center a leading candidate for MVP this season, but he also recently debuted a PE version of the Nike Zoom Rise 2 with his own logo, which mixes his initials and jersey number with the Jester hat, which is a nod to his Joker nickname. I like the logo, I do, but man, it looks a little too much like the World Star logo. I mean, it's not as bad as when the Clippers ripped off the logo of my 17-time world champion Los Angeles Lakers logo for all those years because no one these days is that creatively bankrupt. And I didn't even trade Kyle Kuzma in that bit, guys, so take that, you haters. And now, a dramatic reading of the note left by the ransomware group Hello Kitty to CD Projekt Red after they apparently stole source code for the Cyberpunk 2077, The Witcher 3, and others. Now, as of this recording, it appears they have sold the source code for $7 million. Obviously, this is a crappy situation for CD Projekt, but also the note was just something else, man.
Hello, CD Projekt. You have been epically pwned. We have dumped full copies of the source codes from your pre-forced server for Cyberpunk 2077, Witcher 3, Gwent, and the unreleased version of Witcher 3. Your public image will go down the even more, and people will see how your company functions. Investors will lose trust in your company, and the stock will dive even lower. You have 48 hours to contact us.
I don't know. Cyberpunk kind of did the whole ruin the company's image part. So we have to talk about the Trophy Room Air Jordan 1 release, easily the most hyped sneaker release of this year so far. Based on the rumor that Michael Jordan was being shut out by his Eastern Conference teammates and attacked on defense by the Western Conference, Jordan's All-Star debut in 1985 was less than stellar. The freeze-out story became the stuff of legend and has been told so many times that most people assume it's fact at this point, even though nobody from that game has either confirmed or admitted anything of the sort happened. Regardless, the story, like the banned Nike Air Ship and other slights, real or imagined, are part of the Jordan canon now. And now it's been translated into a shoe courtesy of Marcus Jordan, MJ's son. Limited to only 12,000 made, it's basically a pair of Chicago 1s that look like they've been frozen since 1985 and include hints of the rumor and the iconography from the 1985 All-Star Game. If you think about it, in normal pre-pandemic times, this would have been the must-have pair of the 2021 NBA All-Star Weekend, which would have been taking place right now as you're watching this. There would have probably been a pop-up trophy room shop in Indianapolis, and I would have been there to cover it. And maybe if Lady Luck was on my side, I could have finessed a live unboxing for this channel where I talk about the shoe with Isaiah Thomas. Man, Zeke just can't catch a break when it comes to MJ, huh? The pettiness runs deep in the Jordan family, I see. Anyways, that would have been my dream scenario for the Trophy Room ones, but it wasn't meant to be. Instead, we got an online raffle and a bizarre release on the Sneakers app. And wouldn't you know it, the whole thing was a mess. Like, just awful to the point of embarrassment for all parties involved. The Trophy Room release was held via an email raffle, but that was bungled because apparently a lot of people's entries were being bounced back to them. Like, how? That only happens because either there are so many emails coming in at once that Google was rejecting them, or the Trophy Room inbox was full. Now, as somebody who has like at least a dozen Gmail accounts and a few burners just in case, that's a lot of emails. But regardless, you can't let that happen. That's like step one in the making sure everybody who wants to enter the raffle is able to at least say they entered the raffle. And even when they reopened the raffle again later on, it was little consolation as once again, there was a lot of L's going around. And then there was the sneakers drop, which was on its own a very special hell. Not only was it an exclusive access drop, so only a very few select number of people even had a chance to get them, but the rumor is that there were only 200 pairs in stock. That's what the hell? And last but certainly not least, there were the early pairs. And when I say early, I mean like November of last year early. It's part of every hype sneaker release at this point. Resellers on social media post their stock that's usually accompanied by some dumbass stunt that really just makes them look more like the clowns they already proved themselves to be. But this one was a little different because of how early those people got their Trophy Room ones. Of course, we can't rule out the possibility that a not insignificant number of these shoes are fake. But at the same time, reseller platforms have been selling them and going through the authentication process. That means while there are no doubt fakes, there are a significant number of legit pairs that got out early. Naturally, this gets people talking. How did they get their shoes so early? Was this a backdoor job? Would Marcus really mess up the reputation of the brand he's trying to build for the sake of a few extra dollars? It strikes me as hard to believe. Now, for his part, Marcus has said that it's likely people in the factories and distribution centers themselves are the ones that are doing the unscrupulous deals, and Trophy Room has no part in the shady shenanigans. If that's true, that needs to be stamped out ASAP. If it's Trophy Room's own people doing it, then that needs to be stamped out ASAP as well. The thing is, there is a chance we will never know what exactly happened. But what Trophy Room needs to do is make sure this never happens again. And look, I get it. In the grand scheme of things in the sneaker world, Trophy Room is just another piece in a bigger Jordan brand pie, even if it is run by MJ's own flesh and blood. If tomorrow Jordan Brand announced a collaboration with, say, Salahe Bembery or shock dropped fresh pairs of the OG Chicago ones, this is all forgotten because while we sneakerheads are often down, we are always looking to jump to the next high. We have to keep the pressure on these brands and these stores if we're going to see any real change. But if we just take this L, live with it, and just thirst over the next Trophy Room collab like nothing happened, this will be the reputation of that store. And I'm sure at some point, Pops is gonna notice. And while I have no idea how MJ raised his kids, I'm just going to go ahead and say that dads do not take kindly to when their good name is being sullied, especially when the kids are the ones at the root of it, directly or indirectly. All right, it's time for the heat check where we bring you everything that's dropping this week. First up, we have the Nike Dunk Low Coast, Hyper Cobalt, and Medium Gray. These are on the 18th for $100. Yeah, it's on Sneakers app now, but I won't believe these are real until I either have them in this studio to do an unboxing or I can take an L on the app on the 18th. These are sneaker Mr. Snuffleupagus as far as I'm concerned. Then we have the Stussy Nike Air Huarache Desert Oak on the 18th for $120. While people are definitely going to be fighting over the dunks dropping on the same day, this might be your best chance to grab a pair with a frequent Nike collaborator. Then we have the women's Air Jordan 1 Silver Toe on the 19th for $170. Sneaker describes this as a twist on the Air Jordan 1 Gold Toe, opting for the crinkled silver look instead of the patent leather gold. Not sure how that's going to play or if anybody is going to care that women's equals silver and men's equals gold, but it was just a curious way to talk about this release. Then we have the Air Jordan 3 Cool Gray on the 20th for $190. First released in 2007, this retro has always struck me as curious because there's enough red and yellow for me not to call these an actual Cool Gray sneaker. The Jordan 9 Cool Gray, that's a Cool Gray sneaker. That Jordan 11 Cool Gray, definitely a Cool Gray sneaker. Now, if you had called these something crazy like Super Mario Bros. Cartridge Jordan 3s, I'd be more interested. Then we have the Adidas Yeezy 700 V3 Kyanite. This is on the 20th for $200. According to Google, kyanite is a mineral found mainly in metamorphic rock. It most often forms from the high pressure alterations of clay minerals during the metamorphism of sedimentary rocks. Then we have the Nike Kobe 6 Pro Tro All-Star on the 20th for $180. Worn by the late Kobe Bryant during the All-Star game in Los Angeles back in 2011. It's not the flashiest pair of Kobe 6s, especially after all the PEs that have been popping up in the league lately, but I think that nostalgia for all things Kobe Bean will make these a hit. And then my pick of the week is the Hot Ones Reebok Question and Classic Leather Legacy. These are on the 18th. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jacques, I know you're just making these your pick of the week as a way to get on the show. First of all, how dare you? Second of all, you're not wrong. But third of all, these are actually a cool concept as it shows off the two sides of the show. You've got the questions, which are the fire wings that people have to eat, and the classic leather represents the cool milk that you can drink to refresh yourself. Sean, what up? Call me. I'm down to do this anytime, man. And now for a heat check on Salahe Bembery, aka the most in-demand sneaker designer of the moment. The former Yeezy collaborator and mind behind the 2 Chainz Approves Versace chain reaction has been working with brands that we normally don't cover as much as we would like to on this show for a while now, like Payless, Cole Haan, Anta, New Balance, and I guess as of a few days now, Crocs. Don't know if we'll ever do a deep dive Crocs on this show, but I guess anything's possible, right? Anyways, after the success of his debut collab with New Balance last fall and an upcoming pair of the Test Run Project 3.0 that has even the most influential of influencers talking, it would be a mistake for us to not talk about Salahe and New Balance and how the two are mutually benefiting from each other. For years, New Balance has been beloved by a certain segment of the sneakerhead population. They tend to skew older in age and they love to spit facts about random pairs with model numbers that most casuals wouldn't recognize and tell stories about the mom and pop shops that were the only place you could find said shoes. If you're a fan of the movie High Fidelity with John Cusack or the remake on Hulu starring Zoe Kravitz, the New Balance fans are Zoe's employees at the shop who spend all day talking about obscure Japan exclusives that never made it to the US. Not that I'm judging, of course. Also, hi Zoe Kravitz. But also, New Balance, along with Under Armour, has a reputation for being the brand of choice by a certain vocal and deplorable part of our country. Not that New Balance ever courted or encouraged that market, it just so happened to look like that on the surface level, especially in 2016 when they supported our then president's stance on trade. That changed in 2019 when New Balance, along with other prominent sneaker brands, opposed the expansion of tariffs in China. Meanwhile, the brand made a big splash when they signed Kawhi Leonard to become the face of their reemergence in basketball, reaffirmed their long-standing partnership with Ronnie Fieg, teamed up with celebrities like Jaden Smith, and of course, rising names in the design world like Salahe. The New Balance 2002 R that dropped in October of last year was a quick seller and now sells for triple or more in the resale market. It was hyped by not only the sneaker blogs, but by more mainstream outlets like GQ. And it's not hard to see why. Salahe's take on the shoe felt like escapism on a shoe. Decked out in earthy tones, the shoe was inspired by the canyons in Arizona, which is about as far away as you can get from the dumpster fire that was 2020. And with the follow-up colorway being teased a few weeks ago and the hype train starting for his take on the Run Project 3.0, the moment is set for Salahe and New Balance to have, well, a moment. Now, I'm not saying that he is the next coming of Virgil Abloh, who is friends with Bembery, but I think that this is an opportunity for both sides to really elevate each other. New Balance gets the rub of working with Bembery, and Bembery gets to expand his audience because New Balance is the most visible brand he has associated with in the US other than Payless, but also R.I.P. Payless. It'd be foolish for me to speculate where Salahe goes next, but his teasing of a Crocs collab signals at least to me that he's not looking to work with the Adidas and Nikes of the world just yet. Adidas just brought Jerry Lorenzo on board, and that's probably where their focus is at the moment, and Off-White and Nike are still going strong. I'm going to be interested in what the next few months and years have in store from Bembery. Will his Crocs be the next stepping stone to even more mainstream success? Is he already in talks with Jordan Brand? Will he once again dip his toes in the high fashion realm? I can't wait to see it. So I'm giving Salahe Bembery a perfect 10 out of 10 on the heat check. No wacky metric this time around because he's that good. And to think, he's just in his mid-30s. As somebody in their early 20s, I can only hope to reach that level. What? It's time for this week's Hard Pass, where we take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go. Like Instagram impersonators. Look, it's one thing to copy an NBA player's style on social media to make a name for yourself. Hey, it worked for B-Dot, why can't other people do it? If they can bring their own unique take to the genre, then that forces others to up their game and do better. But it's another thing to copy somebody's routine, get called out by that player for misrepresenting something that he feels is sacred, and to respond by challenging him to a boxing match? Oh, and to also say it's the player's responsibility to educate the impersonator about his culture? First of all, Kyrie doesn't owe you. He called you out, and instead of just apologizing and moving on, you escalated to a level no one asked for? I'm normally not the one who likes to get on the kids for being too extra these days, but man, some of y'all make it really hard on yourselves when it doesn't have to be that way. Like, at all. Anyway, this week's hard pass goes to the Air Jordan 6 Carmine. Okay, not to the shoes themselves. Actually, you know what? It is the shoes this time. In a rare instance of the brand admitting they Jordan brand is recalling pairs of the Air Jordan 6 Carmine that have pink midsoles. In their statement, they said, a small amount of Air Jordan 6 Carmine product did not meet our standards for consumers. Jordan brand is working quickly with our retail partners to rectify this. Now, if you're not totally caught up, you should know that the Air Jordan 6 Carmine did not originally have pink midsoles. They were white. The OG in 1991 had white midsoles, the Retro in 2014 had white midsoles, the 2008 pair that was a part of the Countdown pack had white midsoles. But the 2014 and 2008 pairs had a different problem. They had the Jumpman in the back instead of Nike Air, which is a sneaker cardinal sin if there ever was one. Purists shudder at the mere sight of a Jumpman on the back when it comes to OG colorways. So really, this was Jordan brand making it right 30 years later. And now they have a different problem. Now there's various theories as to why some pairs ended up with pink midsoles, but really, that's neither here nor there at this point. The reality is that this could potentially be a major screw-up and could potentially have an impact on who and how people get their pairs of this eagerly anticipated release. According to Jordan brand, only a small amount of the Carmine 6s were affected by this. But just how many is that small amount? Will this pink midsole be recalled and then sold at outlet stores as B grades? Is it like the infamous photo blue Air Jordan 9 from 2012 with the black bottoms that Nike eventually resold at a discount almost a year later? Are there enough pairs that have to be recalled that it could cause a surge in demand for the properly colored midsoles because they are now rarer and therefore command a rise in resale value? Will we now see an opportunistic reseller with stacks of Carmine 6s in both the regular and pink midsole versions and asking for more money depending on which one you want? In the collectible world, sometimes an Era version that reaches a certain level of infamy actually sells for more than the correct version. Card collectors no doubt remember the Sam Vincent Hoops card that has the only picture of MJ wearing the number 12 on cardboard, or the Billy Ripken with the profane message on the back. There is a not too far away future scenario where I could see people trying to sell the pink midsole version as a variant for more money. Or I could imagine Nike getting those recalled pairs back and selling them like they did the black bottom photo blue 9s at a discounted price. By the way, that price in 2013 was $130, $30 off from the original $160. If Nike were to do this again, they would sell the flawed Carmine 6s for $170, which means you would be paying more for a mistake in 2021 than you would for a standard pair in 2012. Could this be yet another stain on Nike, which has had to deal with the backlash the past few weeks because of problems with the sneakers app and a number of high-profile releases getting either delayed or canceled? In any other instance, Nike would be accused of running a sloppy shop and consumers would rally against them until they promise to get it right and deliver on that promise. Do I think this will be the tipping point that finally forces Nike to revamp the sneakers app, fix their supply chain, and be more transparent about fighting bots? No, not really. Because there are too many people, too many casuals, and too many hype beasts that don't give a. They'll either get the Carmines or not through whatever means they have to get it. And if they don't, it's no big deal. They'll just move on to the next hype release. As a community, if we want the brands to change, there has to be enough of us to truly impact Nike and Jordan brand's bottom line. But if we don't, we'll just keep going through this over and over again. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if years from now, when Nike decides to retro the Carmine 6s yet again, it will come with pink midsoles. And whoever is in charge of the copy of Sneakers app will wax poetic about that time in 2021 when factory defects actually became an underground success and only added to the mythos of the Air Jordan 6 Carmine. You know, I wasn't planning on writing about the Carmine 6s in this way. I was just going to talk about how the shoes were prominently featured in an obscure PC game, Michael Jordan in Flight. It was not a great game, but there is some neat behind-the-scenes footage of MJ doing motion capture while wearing the Carmines. Ah well, maybe we'll get an Air Jordan 6 Michael Jordan in Flight. They're kind of running out of ideas and inspirations, so they're just trotting out the Air Jordan 1s and freezing them at this point. Anyway, All right, that's gonna do it for the show. Thank you guys for watching Hard Pass. I'm Jacques Slade. I'll see you next week. But not before I show you all why Serena Williams deserves to be on the same level as Ali and Babe Ruth in the GOAT of GOAT conversations, after some of y'all were being wild disrespectful in the comments a few weeks ago.
Okay, now I'm gonna show you the trophy room. Oh, wait, there's a US Open trophy, okay. This looks like one. I am so bad with trophies. Is this one? Yep, this is Roland Garros, the French Open. That one, only have 2 or 3? I don't even remember. 2, 3. Now all you all need me to show you is a Wimbledon, but I don't think I have Wimbledon here. Do I have one? Oh, I do. This is our Wimbledon trophy. Yeah, I see a second place trophy, but I'm gonna put that one in the trash. Shouldn't be in here. We don't keep second place.
She can't even keep track of the trophies. She's so good. I'll see y'all next week. Peace.